Education. We're meeting at 280 West, 940 North in Provo, Utah, and we're going to begin our business meeting today with a roll call. We'll start with Board Member Hall.
Melanie Hall, Board Member.
Gina Hales, Board Member.
Wendy Dow, Superintendent.
Rebecca Nielsen, Board President.
Jennifer Partridge, Vice President.
Terry McCabe, Board Member.
Lisa Boyce, Board Member.
Devin Daly, Business Administrator.
Thank you so much. And we excuse Meg Van Wagenen, Board Member Van Wagenen, who cannot be with us this evening. And we also want to welcome our two student board members. Do you want to chime in? Say your names.
Monica Tuona, Student Board Member.
Hutch Fallis, Student Board Member.
Thank you, and I apologize for missing you too, but thank you for being here. Is there a motion to begin our business meeting this evening?
I move that we begin our business meeting.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hall. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Hales. We are now in our business meeting. We're going to have opening remarks tonight given by Board Member Gina Hales.
It is that time of year where we see lots of ads for people who want us to vote for them. We are in election season, so for better or worse, we are here. Actually, I would argue it's for better. We live in a country that we get to vote for our representative government, the people who represent us in the government, and I think it's a great thing. And I think that we should vote. So I'm going to read a quote by Samuel Adams. It was in the Boston Gazette on April 16th, 1781. Let each citizen remember at the moment he is offering his vote that he is not making a present or compliment to please an individual, or at least that he ought not so to do, but that he is executing one of the most solemn trusts in human society for which he is accountable to God and his country. I believe that the right to vote is sacred, and I hope that we can increase the number of people who vote. And those of you who are turning, is it 18 you have to be to vote? Turning 18, that you'll register to vote and you will vote. There is, and in the state of Utah, there is a very real push to get rid of public education. I don't know if I'm kind of neck deep in it. So I see it more, but there is a real push. Not everybody is for that, but there's definitely a push, and they have the ears of some really important people. So we need to be looking at our candidates. At least one of the things we need to be looking at is how do they support public education. I believe that public education is one of the reasons why this country is so great. Everybody has the opportunity to attend school. And be educated. And so please take a look at the people that are running and take a look at the way that they want to finance it as well. If you listen to our study session, which probably nobody did because I never did until I was on the board or elected. We have our district is what we call highly impacted. We have students who are learning English or learning lots of different languages. We have students who are economically disadvantaged, a higher percentage than a lot of the other districts in our state. And it costs more money to educate those students. Nothing wrong with that, right? But we need the money to do that. And we need legislators who are going to support that, who want to help us get the funds that we need to properly educate all of our students. We also have a number of amendments on the ballot. There's been some drama surrounding that. I'm happy to answer questions about that after this. Also, the PTSA is having a Meet the Candidate event this Thursday. I am one of the people who will be there for that, 6:30 p.m. in this room. That's this Thursday. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me there about amendments, but it's important. It's the way that we're going to fund education. It's the way that public education, how public education will move forward. So I just encourage everybody to vote.
Thank you so much, Board Member Hales. We are honored tonight to have the Rock Canyon Student Council members here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would like to take your place right here at the podium, and we'll have that now.
Good evening. We are members of the Rock Canyon Elementary Student Council. My name is Yutaro.
My name is Olivia.
I am Joseph.
My name's Ada.
And my name is Joaquin. We are happy to be here to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you.
Thank you, Rock Canyon students. That was awesome. We appreciate you being here. All right, we will go ahead and begin our Community Connections section of our meeting tonight. We will start with some employee recognition, but before I do that, I just want to give a quick announcement that after our employee recognition and our school report, we'll be accepting public input tonight. And if you are interested in giving input to the board, we have forms that need to be filled out first, and those forms are on this small table to my right and your left. You would need to fill out that form completely and hand it to our secretary, Bonnie Totkus, in the fuchsia maroon shirt. I'm trying to decide what color that is. in the really great looking shirt over here that's fuchsia or maroon colored, and get that to her, and then you'll be able to have some time to give input to the board later. But for now, we'll go ahead and give our time to Jason Cox, our deputy superintendent, to start our employee recognition.
Good evening, school board. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight and to be able to recognize these wonderful employees. Again, I feel very lucky to have this opportunity to just say thank you to so many people who put in such a big effort to help us in our school district and to help students. I'm going to start tonight by reading off the names of the people who are being recognized, and then we have a short video that we'll be watching. After the video, we would love for the people who are being recognized to have a chance to be personally thanked by the board. Each one of the board members would like to thank you, so we're going to have you come up and come along the front here and let the board members shake your hand and thank you for your service. So the people, I'll ask them to stand when I read their name. We're going to be recognizing Ashley Damavandi tonight. Hi, and I apologize. I think I kind of crushed that name. I wish I would have done better. Ashley Damavandi. Michelle Stott. Cassidy Baker. Jordan Saminsky. And we'll go ahead and watch our video.
Everybody was clapping.
I think the mic went, I apologize. Shane Rowley, I'm so sorry.
Her duties in the classroom go beyond the 180 days of instruction. Cassidy takes time to travel the world over the summer and shares with her students special artifacts and even a richer history of the world in her first-hand experiences. Almost 80% of her sophomore students pass the AP World History exam each year. Everyone can agree that Cassidy embraces growth, belonging, and excellence at Timpview High School.
I nominated Miss Saminsky because she's always a teacher. She's a teacher who you can be friends with instead of like a teacher who's strict and they're like, oh, I hate that teacher. Miss Saminsky is that kind of teacher who she like helps you and comes down to like a teenage level because she's that kind of person.
I also like her books.
I chose Miss Stott because she's really good at implementing diversity in her classroom. She's really chill and she's like really good with like diversity and making sure everyone feels included. She's also really good at amping up her lesson plans. I remember that we were the only 6th grade class that got to take care of organisms because she went out and she got them for us.
I nominated Mr. Rowley because He's helped me in some of the toughest times I've had. For example, on one of my birthdays, he's always visited me, and he helped me when I was having a tough time with a friend. He always gives me a treat on my birthday, even now. I'm really grateful.
She's a great teacher at Centennial Middle School. She's constantly looking for ways to stretch students mathematically and is always willing to model effective research-based strategies for colleagues. She's so willing to share her resources and practice with others. She keeps her practice current by participating in professional learning with her peers so that she can better serve her students. We are so lucky to have such an amazing math teacher in our district.
Let's give them another round of applause.
Let's see. Congrats.
I have a cold, so I won't shake.
But I will.
Don't you worry. She's going to shake it for me, too.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
I have a cold, so she's going to shake her hand for me.
Make sure you say congratulations. Thank you so much for all you've done.
Thank you for everything. She's going to shake her hand for me because I have a cold.
Thank you for everything.
Oh, thanks.
Cassidy.
She's going to
Congratulations.
love you. I have a cold, so I don't shake your hand, but thanks for everything you're doing. You're okay.
Thank you. One more hand. Thank you so much to all of our award winners for being so darn awesome. We just appreciate all that you do in our schools. We're going to go ahead and hear a school report now from Principal Karen Brock of Rock Canyon Elementary.
Well, hello. I am just thrilled to be here and really, really thrilled and honored to be at Rock Canyon Elementary. I'm going to get emotional. I didn't realize how much I miss being in a school until I started this year. I just love being in the middle of where teaching is happening and where kids are learning, and we have such a unique opportunity at Rock Canyon to just really dig in and do some learning. I just am thrilled to be able to tell you about what's going on at Rock Canyon, and I also readily admit that I've been there about 15 minutes. So I am learning so much every day about what's happening and the strengths and the power of Rock Canyon. This is on our marquee at the front of our school, is just where the magic happens, and that's what I keep seeing every day. Today I was in about 5 or 6 classrooms, and it's just an absolute thrill for me to see the deep engagement that teachers are really making happen at Rock Canyon. So one of the things that we had what is that noise? We had a fantastic opportunity this summer. We have a grant that we're doing with our PLCs, and so this is a picture of us we got to do an overnight retreat, and it was on a magical merry-go-round that we decided to use as our backdrop. But we got all of our staff there, and it was a fantastic opportunity for me to get to know the staff in a different way. We were able to sit by the pool in the evening and just chat, and if you can see up there, the remarkable thing is it's a staff of women. Even our custodian is a woman. It's just a bunch of girls, and so I've really enjoyed getting to know the teachers, and we did something a little bit different because we were right on the cusp of being able to get. we didn't quite have enough for 3 teachers in a couple grades, and so we did a couple of split classes. And we've got 3 teachers in kindergarten, and then in first grade we have 2.5, and in second grade we have 2.5. And we bought another teacher. That's a really crude way of saying that, or crass way of saying that, but we got another teacher for first and second because we really wanted to lower our class sizes in first and second. So we have a first and second split, and we didn't do high first graders, low second graders. We did high. We really want to have it as an advanced class. So we did the same thing for our third, fourth split. We had 2.5 teacher allocation for third grade and 2.5 teacher allocation for fourth grade, and so we did another split there. So it's unique. We have 2 split classes this year, and we're really working on adding some acceleration opportunities into those split classes. 5th grade and 6th grade both have 3 teachers. And then we have an assistant principal, which I'm thrilled about. What a great opportunity to walk into a school with an assistant principal intern and then an instructional coach. So I really feel like I've got a great team. And then we have music and half art and half STEM, and of course library, PE. And then our SPED team, we have 1.5 SPED teachers, 0.75 social worker, and some psych time as well. So we're really grateful for the power of this really dynamic team. So as far as experience goes, we have no new teachers. We might be the only school in the district with no new teachers. Our youngest teachers are teachers, 3 teachers with 4 years of experience. And then the 7 to 10 years, we have 5 teachers. From the 10 to 17 years, we have 8. And then I decided to do 2 to 100 because we've got some teachers who are very experienced, and that's 10 in that category that have been 20 or more years in education. So we've got a very experienced staff and a lot of great traditions at Rock Canyon. As far as our student body goes, we have 490 students, 26% economically disadvantaged, 14% with disabilities. When we pull out, we've got 5% of that 14% is speech only. So we've got a really, probably a larger population of speech only in our IEPs. And then we have 8% English language learner. There it goes. Our last 3 years, just a quick overview of, I know that you've studied this for many more years than I have with Rock Canyon, but we have a pretty consistent, in terms of academic achievement, we stay pretty consistently in the 60% of our students in all 3 categories are proficient. And then when we're looking at growth, we consistently get we consistently get a pretty good growth. We've got a couple of areas always that kind of ebb and flow, but it's a school where growth is happening. One of the things that were kind of interesting to look at, our gap, our achievement gap is with our economically disadvantaged and our limited English proficiency, in terms of we're at 20% and 30% of a gap in terms of proficiency. Our growth is a little smaller of a gap. The interesting thing with our mobility is we don't have a gap with our mobile kids. People come to Rock Canyon for different reasons. They're choicing into Rock Canyon oftentimes because they want the traditional and the environment that we offer at Rock Canyon. So it's unique that our mobility does not produce an achievement gap because it's different people moving in and they're choicing in. Our neighborhoods are not really mobile neighborhoods in our catchment area. Proficiency for the Acadians is pretty strong. Our growth is also pretty strong in reading. The area that we're working on this year with our school improvement plan is math. Again, proficiency looks pretty good. We need to see gains in growth. And as we learn that test, I think we'll find that we are getting better growth as well. But that's an area of focus this year, is making sure that we are seeing growth in math and that we're looking carefully at which groups are not seeing gains. We've got, it's pretty impressive in some of the areas, like our multilingual students got great gains last year on the math Acadians, and we need to work on our students with disabilities. So it's up and down in terms of where we need to go with our growth. But we've got some good pockets of growth and some other areas in need of continual growth. This is just today. Every day I go into classrooms and see really great things. And I took probably 20 minutes of video in this. We started Math Olympiads today. And it was about 30 to 35 sixth graders actively, 30 minutes of active conversation about what to do, what they're doing and how they're approaching math. And it was just the most exciting part of my day to watch these kids. And I just kept taking a video and I'd listen, explain to me what you did there, explain to me what you did there. And it was so much fun. And I really could have just sat back and shown you video after video after video of these really great high level, not a single child was off task and everybody was explaining to each other. It was kind of the math class of your dreams. It was a really fun thing to watch. And same true for STEM. Just a couple of pictures that we were seeing. This is an area that we want to continue to expand and continue to give kids lots of opportunities. We have a partnership with BYU to do storyboards with our 4th grade. And child after child after child, I was asking them, so what are you doing with this circuit? How are you going to make this circuit light up, and what's happening? Every single child could explain to me what their plan was for their circuit board, how they're going to tell a story, and how they were going to program. And they were just learning, they're just barely learning how to code, but they're going to be telling a story and then coding to show what's happening throughout their story by lighting up different parts of their storyboard as they go. And they're just really excited. We've got a STEM classroom with a certified teacher. We're very excited about the way she's pushing them. And then in the other two pictures, she explained how the brain worked, and they had different goggles that replicated the different processes the brain goes through as it flips images around. And they learned how how images are seen initially, and then how the brain manipulates that. So I just wanted to really quickly show you that things are popping every day at Rock Canyon, and we're excited to see the growth and the engagement. And I feel just blessed and lucky to be watching and engaging with experienced teachers as they really grapple with what's going on at the school and how do we problem solve to make possibilities and opportunities for our students. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Do we have any questions or comments from the board? Melanie.
I'm just so excited to have you there, and I just love Rock Canyon for obvious reasons. But I'm excited to see the Math Olympiads come back. That's dear to my heart. Something, yeah. And so I'm excited to see that. One thing that came up that she and I both noticed was you have a 0.75 social worker. Is there a reason why it's not a full-time social worker?
It's a specific situation with our social worker. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But thank you for everything you do. We're excited for the new challenges and things that come, and I know you can handle it. So.
Well, thank you. I'm just, like I said, I couldn't be happier than to be walking down the halls of Rock Canyon and being with these fantastic teachers. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. We are now at our time for public input. Are there any forms today, Bonnie, for public input? Anybody interested in giving input to the board? Okay, we'll go ahead and close that section then and go ahead and move on to our business items. We have a few items to approve today. Our first, I'm in the wrong spot. Okay, is the Wasatch Elementary Trust Lands Plan Amendment. And we'll give that time to Jared to give us a quick summary.
As we discussed in the board study session, the Wasatch Elementary Schools Community Council has requested to amend their plan. The summary of that change is to divert funds away from paying for a full-time teacher, but to use those resources to help pay for additional instructional assistance to help them during their intervention times. None of their goals are changing. They're just asking to spend it on classified staff members instead of certified staff members. This was voted on this past month by their council, and they've submitted it forward for your approval.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the amendment to the Wasatch Elementary Trust Lands Plan as discussed in study session.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Partridge. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Hall. Any further comments or discussion, starting with Board Member Partridge, if there's any? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote then. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? That motion passes unanimously. Business item number 2, this is policy 1005.
This is part of board duties and deals with, we're just adding a reference in there to the new policy on school boundaries and closures to 1450, because that is a new standalone policy we are proposing to adopt also to be in alignment with state law.
Great, thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve policy 1005 as discussed in study session.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hales. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Boyce. Any further comments or discussion, starting with Board Member Hales, if there's any? We'll go ahead and vote then. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? That motion passes unanimously. Business item number 3, policy 1450.
Policy 1450 is about boundaries and school changes in school boundaries and changes in or school closures to align with new state law. So this would be the second reading for this policy.
Great, thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve policy 1450?
I move that we approve policy 1450 as discussed in study session.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Boyce. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Hall. Is there any further or comments or discussion, which would start with Board Member Boyce, if there's any?
No.
Okay, we'll go ahead and vote then. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? That motion passes unanimously. Business item number 4, policy 6800.
This establishes a school safety and security specialist. We had this up at a prior board meeting, but we needed some clarification in the paragraph that was basically explaining why we have this particular person in place. So we made those adjustments and now brought it back to the board for a vote.
Great, thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve policy 6800 as discussed in study session.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Partridge. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Hales. Any further comments or discussion, starting with Board Member Partridge, if there's any? Great, then we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? All right, that motion passes unanimously. We'll move on to approve our consent calendar. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the items on the consent calendar.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hales. Bless you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Hall. Any further comments or discussion or questions, starting with Board Member, I forgot who did that, Hales? Hales first.
Nope.
Anyone? Great. We'll go ahead and vote on this then. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? That motion passes unanimously. Okay, we'll go ahead and have a report from our 2 student board members.
So as you know, we just had our first official meeting and we went over a few smaller things that I'll discuss first, and then Hutch will go over the main one. So one of the smaller ones was the lunch schedule, just combining 2 lunches into one. We decided to just push that off for future meetings. Another one was the club complaints. So one of our members actually talked to a few club presidents about some issues that they saw with new policies that were made for the clubs. One main one was being that they weren't allowed to meet on Fridays. We came to the conclusion that it was mainly a miscommunication, and you can't meet between the times where teachers are supposed to have a break and then when they meet with their section. So they can technically meet, they can't meet until 2:30 on Fridays, but that was mainly just a miscommunication. And then Hutch will talk about our student encouragement.
So one of the bigger problems that we were seeing in our schools, both Provo High and Timpview, was that kids would come to school but wouldn't go to class. Like, they'd just hang around in the halls. And so this was brought to my attention by Mr. Allred, one of our assistant principals at Provo High. And what really got me thinking about like bringing this up is the way he put it was, we need to figure out a way that students understand and recognize the importance of having a high school diploma. It's not just getting kids to class, but kind of going to the root of the problem and making sure that they realize just how much value that education can be. And so some of the things that we were talking about is for middle schools, having counselors, giving counselors a bit more time than just a single day just to run through stuff, but multiple meetings with counselors so that way they can prepare those 8th graders for what to expect, what graduation requirements are, what CTE pathways are. So that way when they get to high school, they already know the drill, they know what they need, what they want. And then another thing was information to parents, especially the parents that are not as active in school activities, as well as having Spanish speaking only invitationals for like just information about what resources are available for their kids. And we're also talking about putting YouTube videos as a district together to help get the word out. And I think that was, anything else?
I just wanted to add that we recognize that the main reason why students don't go to class is because they feel like it doesn't add any value to their life. So we learned that taking it back to the middle school, like he said, and telling them what classes they do need, what classes are required. But we also realized that you aren't really able to change your classes after the first week of high school. And it's really difficult for counselors to try to figure out the proper steps to have someone have a successful high school career. So we realized just having more time with a counselor, but also just knowing what you're supposed to be in, like he said before with the meetings, would help a ton. So we just would like to start that up soon.
Okay.
And that's all.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for the work you're doing. And congrats on your first Student Advisory Council meeting. Okay. Business Administrator report.
So tonight, I would just I had an experience this week with Shauna and helping with the website. I realize a couple of our departments are some of the problem children. And it's not just Shauna that's worked so hard on our website. It's Caleb and Shauna and Josh and Rob and then Spencer and Alex in our PR department. So I'd just like to shout out especially Shauna for her patience and her willingness to work with our departments and the way that she's being so thorough in her website prep.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for all that work. It was a ton of work. I know that was quite a big burden on you guys, so we appreciate all the help there. All right, it is time for our board member roundtable. And before I turn the time over to the other board members to give their individual reports, I would actually like to go ahead and start this roundtable, which is a little different than normal, but as a board, we have discussed Amendment A, which will be on the ballot this November. And we have come up with a statement, a position statement, which I will read. And as individual board members give their reports, they are also welcome to support the statement individually as each desires. So I will go ahead and read that now, and then we'll go ahead and have our individual reports. And I'm going to read this in the first person, but I guess when we put out our statement, we'll probably put it out as a collective statement, but for tonight's purposes. So, I oppose Utah's proposed Amendment A, which will be on the ballot in November 2024, and which would remove the earmark for public education funding. This amendment, while intended to increase flexibility in state budgeting, presents a significant risk to the future of public education in our state. Our responsibility is to ensure the long-term sustainability and strength of Utah's public schools, and I believe this amendment jeopardizes that goal. Public education is the foundation of our communities and the future of our children. The proposed amendment opens the door for income tax revenue to be redirected away from public education to other state needs, with only vague guarantees that essential education funding will be protected. My support for this amendment was always contingent upon several key commitments, including 1, an increase in funding for public education beyond inflationary increases. 2, increased emphasis on local control and flexibility for school boards. 3, reduction in administrative demands. 4, elimination of unfunded mandates. 5, automatic inflationary adjustment to the certified tax rate. And 6, a commitment to items important to the public education community. Despite 2 legislative sessions where legislators had the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to supporting the education community, these stipulations have, for the most part, not been met. This, combined with the vague or absent guarantees in the proposed constitutional amendment, causes myself great concern for the future of public education if this amendment passes. Therefore, I cannot support this proposal in its current form. I urge our legislators to work collaboratively with us and other stakeholders to ensure public education remains a top priority while balancing other state funding needs. By securing firm commitments to K-12 education funding, we can protect the future of our schools and ensure Utah's children have the resources they need to succeed. We are committed to continuing our stewardship of public education and advocating for the necessary resources to provide a quality education for every child. This amendment, in its current form, does not offer the protections we need to support public education. Sincerely, Rebecca Nielsen, President. And everyone else who feels so inclined to add their names to this statement. Okay, so we'll start down with Melanie, and you can go ahead and with your report.
I've got to think what we just had the finance committee, and we're working on the RDAs, and I think we've come up with a good solution with how to move forward with that with the Norda School. We'll probably be bringing that to the board. Do we bring that to the board? Yeah. So, and anyway, I would echo everything that Rebecca just said, that we need to have this money set aside for education. We need to keep that. I just feel like we're being attacked at all sides, and public education is really the foundation of our nation, and we need to keep this going. So I'm willing to do anything to keep that money in our pocket if possible.
I want to echo that. My brain is not functioning properly tonight. I agree with the statement that was written and read by President Nielsen. I am also concerned, you heard in my opening remarks, I'm concerned about public education, and funding is one way to quickly not have public education anymore if there's no funding for it. I would like to say that I am not necessarily against a change in it. I recognize that we need to fund all kinds of things in the state, but without some specific guarantees, it makes it very difficult for me to support that. So I am in opposition of Amendment A. Other board duties, I've got my the student board members over there, which are doing a great job. Thank you. I'm impressed with the work that they are doing. I missed the last meeting, but it sounds like they're doing some great work. Policy committee, we are furiously trying to update all of the policies to align with the state code. We'll get that done just in time to have new state code. So we are talking to legislators about maybe relaxing a little bit on all of the education laws that they are passing. And I don't know why we'll let everybody else do legislative. Capital facilities, we meet next week, so we'll have a report on that next time.
One quick report before I pass it on to Jennifer. Jennifer and I, as board leadership today, met with leadership on the city council in an effort to try and brainstorm ideas on how we can work together better with the city and take advantage of and the relationship and the advantage that we have with just one city and one school board, one school district, to work with. And so we have some good things coming down the pipeline there and some more things you'll hear about in the future, but it was a positive meeting today and I feel really good and hopeful and very excited about a good relationship there and an improved relationship there. So, and I fully support this statement.
I want to echo the letter, add my name to it, and I agree with the statements that have been made about, I know the state has needs in their budget, but this is not the right solution until we get better guarantees for our education funding. And especially we have as a district ourselves, but even statewide, there are just so many more needs for our students than there used to be. And we need more support, more personnel, and that does take funding, but it's the best investment we can make for our communities is for that funding. And so I think that's very important that we do not support Amendment A. But I will add Amendment B is something that we should support. Amendment B increases the amount of money that will come directly to our schools from the Trust Lands program. It increases the cap that is currently at 4% to 5%, which still allows plenty of money to be saved for our future students in that program, but allows our current students to have more opportunities. As a district, if that had been a 5% cap this current year, we would have received, and Devin can correct me if I'm wrong, but approximately $300,000 more as a district than we did this year. Is that about right? But that money goes directly to our schools, and the school community councils are the ones who decide, as we saw tonight with our Wasatch change, how they use that money to best support the needs of the local schools. So Amendment B is a good one to support. My other two updates, just with the state association, we are going to be working on some ideas that we as school board members can be more involved during the legislative session to voice our opinions on proposed bills. And when I know more, I'll share more, but just if any of you would like to be more involved in that, whether it's showing up in person or online at committee meetings or other types of outreach. And we'd also like to involve our community. A lot of us are connected with some of our community members who care about these issues too, and we will invite them to be a part of that process too. That legislative process is super important, that they can hear what's important to us. Also, I'm on the PBIS/Kindness Committee, and this is kind of a newly formed group of things we've been doing already, but put together in a new way. And we just had our first meeting, last week, and had a great discussion about looking at our PBIS system and evaluating it. There is a test called the SET test that they're using to look at how are we doing in having those systems in place in our school and working to improve that. And then we talked about what does our current kindness initiative have to do with PBIS? How do they work together? And I loved one of the social workers, his description was PBIS, although we work on it as a school, it it's kind of more of a top down, that this is what we're doing, that the administrators, the teachers, put that in place for the kids to have some good structure, which is very important. And the kindness initiative is more of a bottom up, where the students are thinking about what kind of culture do we want in our school? How do we create that culture where everyone's watching out for each other, treating each other with not only respect, but kindness and helpfulness and those kinds of things, and how those two things come together and work really well together. And so that's what we're going to be focused on this year, is how we can make that a better system in total. So.
I also agree with the statement. Please vote no on Amendment A. And also I agree with Jennifer, vote yes on Amendment B. Today we had a foundation meeting, and so I want to remind all the teachers and everyone who is going to apply for a mini grant, those are due on Friday. And with LegCom, we want to thank all the Provo reps who participated in Legislator in the Classroom. That was very fun, and all the students loved it. And as being on the safety committee, I want to thank everyone on the student services in the student services department and in all of the schools, because of how hard they are working to implement the very, very long list that is required of HB 84. And Meg and I had the opportunity to go to Independence High School, and I want to it's a really big deal when 43 students make the honor roll at Independence. And so congratulations to all of those students for working really hard. And that's all I have.
I love Terry's big heart and how much you love our students and our teachers here. A couple of things. First of all, the foundation also just finished their golf tournament, which was a big success. And thank you so much to everyone who participated and came, helped. There were so many people helping in so many different roles with that. And we're so grateful for the foundation and the work they do to raise money to help support our students and teachers here in the district. So I'll share the shout out about teacher mini grants to any administrators listening, and teachers or administrators want to pass this on to your teachers, students who want to tell their teachers. If there's something you need in your classroom that you don't have, this is a chance to apply for a mini grant. Swing for the fences, I say. Ask for whatever it is you really need and see what the foundation is able to help support. Policy committee meeting really is a lot of work, and for people who are wondering, when we just, someone said to me, you all just agree on everything anyway. That's actually not the case. We do a ton of work. There are a lot of people giving input on all of the things we discussed, but specific to policy, so many stakeholders' voices are part of the conversation as these policies are developed and worked and reworked. They do come to the board, they do take feedback, and now we have them for the public to give us feedback. This is a process we take seriously. We want to get policies right. We want to support teaching and learning and not hinder. We want clarity and to really hit everything that's required by the state each year is a lot of time and effort. So I'm really grateful to the leadership in the district who works so hard on this. There are so many policies at all times being reviewed, written, brought up to code, whatever the things are. And so really grateful for the ability to see that process unfold and be a part of that. I have was not able to attend some of the things going on with our CAPS program with their meeting, but I know that Clay Bingham has been working really hard, not just with CAPS, but with CTE to put together some really forward-thinking ideas for our district that will come to the board. And that I know various board members have been able to go out and visit different centers where a lot of different programs are being put in place, and the idea that we as a district will be able to provide even more learning opportunities, diverse learning opportunities for our students, especially with the state talking about a first credential being required as part of graduation down the road for our students, meaning they will have kind of this meaningful fourth-year learning experience that culminates what they've been doing and prepares them for the next step, whether that includes higher education formally or going into different trades or different opportunities. And so I'm really grateful for that. I do want to speak a little bit to Amendment A. I feel strongly that a school board is a nonpartisan body that works within our specific assigned jobs around education. And so as I've been thinking a lot about this and about kind of my part in this as a board member specifically, I went back over this today. It's time for Thomas to go to bed. Today we just passed an updated policy 1005 that talks about our board powers and duties. And it just, as I was reviewing that policy and thinking about Amendment A, just really felt the stewardship of a sworn duty as a school board officer to protect and ensure the success, to the extent that we're able, of public education. It says the board has the legal power and duty to do all things necessary for the maintenance, prosperity, and success of the schools and for the promotion of education and to exercise all powers given by statute. And so I actually think it is kind of our sworn duty to ensure that there is adequate funding for public education. I actually would be amenable to removing the earmark personally if I felt that we had something more than adequately fund as the description or prioritize education as a description to the words in that statement that I thought were so clear, watching a trend of decisions that have been made, looking for signs that there can be trust that our programs will be supported, has not been met in a way where I feel I can trust those words without more of a guarantee around how we will fund it. Today we heard from one of our schools that's working so hard with a highly impacted group of students, and the need, as the principal was talking, this is my moment to be emotional, I just was wishing we had more capacity to fund and give even more resources. And I wanted the people making decisions around where this money goes to have been in that room and to have heard and seen the data and to recognize the hurdles and to help ensure that we won't leave a school like that without the funding they need to succeed. We won't leave those teachers without the resources they need to succeed as teachers, and we will not leave those students and families without the resources they need in order to have academic achievement and growth, in order to be safe and well, and in order for us to be wise stewards with our resources. So I support that statement, and I feel very strongly that we can do better as a state in prioritizing public education.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, board members, for your reports. Okay, superintendent report.
You will see attached that we actually have, I think we've done the September ones for in-state travel that I approved. There is a swim team travel from Provo High School and a choir travel to Logan that have been approved by me because those are in-state travel. So just wanted to make you aware of that. I just wanted to highlight, I think if you didn't watch study session, I hope principals will go back and see the school report card data and just see how many shout outs and celebrations there are. There are areas where we can improve, but there are a lot of people that are doing a lot of really great things across our district, and we need to be learning more from each other rather than always looking to the outside. Somebody else has the answer for this, and I'm really excited about that opportunity and possibility. I just want to share a couple of experiences that I think maybe people don't get to see every single day. I was in a math class at Centennial Middle School. Hopefully this teacher has better things to do than watch a business meeting on a Tuesday evening, but Her name is Miss Gifford, and she started class with a PAC award. So on Fabulous Fridays, when she has the class, they have their PAC, which is tied to their school rules, their PBIS, and every Friday she acknowledges 2 students that have exemplified 2 or more of those characteristics. And they get a PAC card, which they can take to the office and get, I hope, something awesome with it. I was imagining like fabulous shoes or something, but I'm sure that wasn't it. To a kid, probably a Chick-fil-A sandwich is way better than shoes. But and then she had a prize that was in the classroom, but she talked about how that person had specifically exhibited those characteristics. So actually providing that really specific feedback, and then just went into this masterful lesson on absolute values. And I was so frustrated by the end because I didn't know what the answer was, and we had to leave before I could figure out how I was supposed to solve this equation. But if you can get me that excited about math as a 50-year-old woman, that was pretty incredible. And she had every kid with her, and there were just so many things about her instruction that were just incredible. And I'm just like, I just need to video this. And we just have so many teachers like that across our district that we need to be highlighting and really capitalizing on their expertise. The other place, and this was a few weeks ago, I got to go to the Slate Canyon Youth Facility and talk with Melanie Bliss, who is the administrator over that facility. And I spoke with her for about an hour just about the unique challenges of students who are basically incarcerated. And all of the things that she and her staff do, she knows every kid by name. She knows what they're working on. As we passed students in classrooms, she would say, I need to talk with you later today about this. She knew so many specific things about every single kid and was so vested in, this is our chance to make sure that when they are out of this detention center, that they have opportunities that are available to them so that they don't keep making this mistake again. And I was in this history class, and they were talking about Thomas Jefferson and the Declaration of Independence. And they were talking about why Thomas Jefferson believed or stated that all men are created equal when he had slaves. And one of the students in the class acknowledged, I think that sometimes we're always looking for, absolutely it's wrong, but in that moment we have to recognize that we can get better as human beings and we can do better. And he said, because I really hope that people don't judge me for what I said at a particular instance in time or did at a particular instance in time. And he was trying to make sense of it, and it was just the connections that the teacher was trying to make were pretty phenomenal. And then just everything that she's doing to get kids certifications so when they exit, they can go get a job and have some qualifications. I don't know if you know this, but she goes every Saturday and teaches a music class with the kids on her own time. Like, she does this completely on her own. She plays the guitar. I think that's what she plays. Is that the instrument she plays? She plays the guitar. She teaches them to sing. It's amazing. And then you're finding out that several of these faculty members are doing this on their own time because that's how vested they are. That's just some of the things that are happening in Provo District that I don't know that people are really aware of. And then the last thing that I was so impressed with was our Student Advisory Council. Like, you, Hutch and Monica, you guys ran that meeting so incredibly well. Like, I was like, this is why I loved being a high school teacher. What am I doing being a superintendent? I need to go back to teaching high school. I miss these kids. And just your articulation of everybody, this whole Student Advisory Council was so articulate about what they needed that already in our district leadership team, I'm like, district leaders, you got to come up with a plan, and then we got to take it to Student Advisory Council about how this is going to work, because they're going to tell us what's wrong with it, and they're going to fix it, and then they're going to help us. And it was just, I felt like I wasn't just, thinking about this, and it was just me that felt the need for it, but you were able to articulate what it was that we needed to do, and that voice is really important. So just want you to know how important that is, that you keep speaking up for your peers so we can keep making education better for our students in Provo. That's it.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion to adjourn our business meeting?
I move that we adjourn.
Thank you. Motion made by Board Member Hall. We are adjourned.